the defending champion Jeeno Thitikul. Big first couple of days, 3-shot lead when the round began, but she was tied at this point.
Tough hole location, even to have a birdie putt of that distance. Excellent there on 7.
Ledbetter interviewing some of the players as they finish up. Here is Jeeno Thitikul. This is at the 9th and a chance to get to 10 under.
Yeah, kept it below the hole there with that birdie putt. Players, I think, are learning how to play this green, which has caused some issues over the course of
4/10th. And Jeeno getting ready, and Karen Stupples is going to follow along. Hello, Karen.
Hello. I knew I was drawn to that little building there, if it's called the Tea House.
It's almost that time.
It's this whole place, this 10th hole place downhill about 17 yards.
So Karen would love some hot tea. This whole week has been definitely a bit chilly. The best conditions we've seen so far relative to the temperature, but it's not expected to last. So we'll see what happens over the next few hours.
This is out of the 13th hole. It's an eagle putt here for Lydia Ko. Level par for the day. This would help. Just fooled her. There's little subtleties on this green, and that's going to be a birdie. It'll take her to 3 under par, just inside the top 10.
And at the 10th, this is the leader, Jeeno.
132 is the yardage, and it's just a smooth 9-iron for her. Into a little breeze. Does play downhill.
And again, up by 3 when the round began. She got caught by Hannah Green, but now back up a couple. Classic.
This is over at 15. This is a par putt for Jenny Shin. May move left to right here, coming down the hill. Oh yeah, read it well. So that keeps Jenny 5 under for the day. Has moved up from tied 15th to start the round.
Over the last couple of weeks, Nelly with 3 wins in 6 starts. Not here this week, but Jeeno does have a win this year, and she is world number 2.
Yeah, I would say Jeeno's even a little bit lost in herself lately. She's talked about that quite a bit this week. Feels like she's been trying so hard, working so hard, and not been seeing those results of that. So her goal coming into this week was to try less, to practice a little bit.
Of the day for Cup Cho as we take you to the 14th and Lydia Ko.
It's an opportunity that these players have to almost breathe a little bit, play a little bit more aggressive golf. Oh, but not that aggressive, Lydia. You saw how much that putt broke just moments ago, so that's how quick that is going to be down the slope.
Jeeno at the 10th for birdie.
And she'll have a good idea on what this putt will do. Amelie's Osman, the junior player that is in the group with us, has putted on a similar line. Jeeno was paying attention. It's always nice to get a free read out here.
It was kind of right where that line that she had was lined up. Never fell left like she was expecting.
We mentioned
Mizuho and Michelle Wee West wanted to do right from the get-go, and it continues here, and it's great to see the next generation not too far away from playing on the tour. Jeeno Thitikul now on the tee at 11.
Jeeno was a winner, as a professional winner, when she was at the same age as some of these players.
Yeah, she burst onto the scene as a teenager, a little bit like Lydia Ko.
Okay, this is Lydia Ko at 14 for birdie.
I mean, once she gets it over the crest of this hill, I mean, gravity is going to take it so quickly. When you talk about artists, this putt requires such artistry. I'd have to say that's almost about as good as she could do from that point. It's just an impossible leave.
You're talking about a
Jeeno, ball is a little bit below her feet. back into the wind, which is also just a hint off the left as well. Just perched at the top of a little downslope.
It's been a really tough hole all week. I think this is an easier hole location, but there's nothing easy about this green, that's for sure. It's under par.
She's got a little upslope that she's going to have to go up right at the very front of this green. But I think of all the hole locations on this green, this one's a little more forgiving than some that we've seen. Her pace has been very good today. She's got a good feel for the speed.
Do get a sense of the sort of 4 standout players on the LPGA as of this moment in the season. That'd be Hannah Green, Hyoju Kim, Jeeno Thitikul, and Nelly Korda. All of those players winners this year on the LPGA, some of the multiple winners. And as you look at that leaderboard, you've got Green and Thitikul that are
Rounding area, and all the players and caddies this week said this could host a U.S. Open tomorrow. It's played like it this week at times. And how about just the picturesque setting here?
Oh, I mean, it's just tremendous. I mean, the challenge that this golf course gives these players is exactly what you'd expect from a USGA event, to be honest with you. The type of greens that Donald Ross. This one's heading towards the trouble. I can't tell if it stopped short on the right.
It did.
Okay. I think if you squeeze the fairways in just a little bit, I mean, this would be prime time US Open course.
You think the U.S. bounces back from a rough patch?
It's a par putt here for Lydia Ko at the 15th. A little unlucky with the draw yesterday. I think the morning players who played sort of second half of the draw in the morning, they had a really tough go of it. Weather improved in the afternoon. And Lydia said yesterday that 75 that she shot didn't stress her out too much. Didn't feel like that bad of a round. It might have been a bit of a different story in the afternoon if she had played later. Going to be a bogey there for Lydia. She's going to fall back to 1 under.
About Iris Lee looking on, an AJGA player. What a moment that has to be. Looking at a player about the age that Lydia was when Lydia first won on tour. Back to 12, and how about the lie for Jeeno?
Actually pretty good. Found a decent spot. Only 95 yards to go.
Smart play there. Take that false front completely out. Terrible angle from the right side to that right hole location. So smart play.
Okay, so 3-shot lead when the round began. It's 1 here at the moment. And an AJGA competitor in these groups today. And here is number 2 in the world, Jeeno, for birdie.
This is going to be a tricky putt. It's going to require a lot of imagination and skill. It is downhill. Will break to the right as it goes down that hill as well. You just have to pick a spot that you want to get the ball rolling over.
Snapping.
Barely crested the hill and asking for it to stop. That was a wonderful putt.
She snapped too early?
I don't think so. I think she'll be thrilled with that one. I think that that was a wonderful effort, especially after a poor tee shot.
Yeah.
Kind of got away with it. Barely was short of that penalty area. Walks away with a fairly easy par.
The early bogey, but then back-to-back birdies at 7 and 8. 8 was a 2-putt birdie at the par 5.
The veteran Jenny Shin for birdie at 17. Let's see how much turn this has at the end of the putt. Yeah, just snaps. So difficult when you get above the hole.
And back at 16, Lydia Ko. trying to...
Back in LA just a few weeks ago, felt like she had no chance to win at some points and ended up pulling it out. It's a crazy game. You never know what's going to happen. And looks like the rain has started to fall a little bit, Karen.
That is definitely happening. It's not tremendously heavy right now. It's just enough to be an annoyance.
Did you bring your umbrella?
I do have an umbrella, but it's on the other side of the fairway to where I'm standing right now. So I can't get over to get it just yet.
So, you know,
This one's
t-shirt
going
in the air.
left. Yeah.
Oh,
Missed the last one right. This one left. That gets away with it. It is a par 5, so there's a bit of a creek and some bunkers that she has.
first bogey of the day, but a good day so far as we go back over to 16.
And Green after the birdie is going to watch as Lydia Ko tries to answer. Iris Lee there playing with Lydia, just a 7th grader. Great to see these youngsters playing with the LPGA stars, and few in the game bigger than Jeeno Thitikul, leading by 1. And Morgan, you mentioned it, a couple of rounds of 6 under and 5 under out there on the golf course. Shin has one of them, and as the rain begins to intensify, here's Jenny's second to the 18th.
Only making the hardest hole on the golf course even harder. Playing half a stroke over par today with a much more accessible hole location.
At the top of the leaderboard. And she's on the par 5, 13th, but not able to take advantage. She's going to be laying this one up.
She will. She's got quite a thick bit of grass that she's going to have to deal with in this rough. And she's on a downhill lie. The actual yardage to the hole is 250. So just not worth biting off more than you can chew here.
Smart play there, and as this rain starts to fall, it's going to make the rough feel even thicker as the moisture makes it that much tougher. Smart
Miles there for Ronnie, but a few more smiles today with the guy the golf course has played. They had to get out of the way of their own putt.
Yeah, that was she was such a short putt. She was standing so close to it and had such a severe lip out coming back towards her. It was kind of a wild shot.
Now Jeeno. Not quite what she would have wanted there. Players are probably thinking long is just terrible, so they want to err on
The hill.
And up at the 18th, Jenny Shin. Brilliant approach, went right past the hole. Now she's got this for birdie to tie the low round of the day and the week. 66 if it drops.
Yeah, similar from what we saw from Allison, birdieing this tough 18th to finish. Only have been 3 birdies so far today. This will have a little bit of speed and break to the left. She's really locked in with her posture and her grip.
Jenny is a USGA champ, won the girls junior. She's not yet in the US Women's Open at Riviera. And, withdrew from her qualifier, so she's got a couple of more chances next week in Cincinnati. The shot right up.
It's going to be uphill. I think she'd have been hoping that this one would have been for eagle when you stand on that tee, and knowing that she has all the power in the world to get to this green in 2. But just a miscue with the tee shot left her with this, and you can't take anything for granted on these greens.
Just needs to straighten out her driver a little bit coming down the stretch. That's 2 fairways in a row that she's missed, in addition to a couple earlier in the day as well. She is leading the field in greens in regulation.
Well, throughout the season,
when we followed her, when we followed her early in the rounds, it was really tough and everything was a bit of a struggle, and she seemed to be just clinging on. But then she hit the accelerator button as the round went on, so indicating that the conditions did ease off slightly. She has a 7-iron for this shot, plays 166, uphill a little bit, but it'll help in wind.
As we've seen today, Karen, just have to keep it below the hole. Anything even hole high or beyond the flagstick is impossible.
Jenny moved to Buena Park, California with her family when she was just a youngster, about 40 miles from Riviera, hosting the U.S. Women's Open.
Pretty impressive there. She was holding the umbrella there for Hallie. I mean
full service. Okay. Kong, caddy for Jeeno, holding the umbrella over his boss. Here she is for birdie.
Oh, I think he was actually holding it over the golf ball more than he was over Jeeno. That's to stop any rain droplets falling on the ball for as long as you possibly can to get clean contact. But still a tricky putt, though, isn't it, Morgan? If you're, as you were saying, if you're above the hole.
I'd have to say also.
Back, a young American who's already qualified for the U.S. Women's Open. 17.
Lydia Ko, and for the green too, obviously, and in the bunker with a bit of work there. That's so good.
Fair, there's 4 greens at this point in the round at 1.9 average for the field or higher per player on this hole, this being one of them.
And you said it a moment ago, Karen, you just can't take any putt of any length really for granted here. Here's Jeeno for par.
No, not at all, because even though you're trying to put these hole locations on an area that is somewhat flat, there's still a lot of subtleties to these putts. That's what happens when you have 100-year-old greens. That tends to be the case.
Wow.
Playing so much break on a 1.5 footer. Played that almost a cup outside the hole.
1 under after beginning with a 3-shot lead.
USGA Women's 4-ball at the beginning of this week, and Iris lost in the quarterfinals. By the way,
It's a Mercer Bear.
Katie Sheck from Mercer won her first ever USGA
How
event
about
with Morgan
that?
Ellison, her partner, and she wins. So congratulations to Katie Sheck.
She might join you in the Mercer Hall of Fame one.
Well, she might have to go a bit for that, but it's
Oh, yeah, it's fair.
it's
Fair.
really, really good performance. That gets her into the US Women's Amateur as well. So congratulations. Now Lydia Ko.
And between the two of you, you have 1 USGA title, right?
Correct, yeah.
The Mercer Bears.
Yeah. And 1 low scoring average for the season.
Yeah. You've done pretty well for yourself in the big city.
So that's just a par 4 times on tour. Just trying to, the group ahead should just be clearing out of the way, and so Jeeno will be ready to go with her tee shot. Jeeno stole the tee.
Still not an easy hole.
Well, this hour of TrackMan Tracer technology is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now Jeeno ready to go.
Yeah, she does also have to be careful of the right bunker and the left bunker. You ideally want to hit this with a little draw, take it around the corner, give yourself a short shot into this green. Just back into the wind. And that's just come right past me. I think she might be all right.
No tree trouble?
I think she's going to get away with it.
Made par. Couldn't believe it. Hit almost a stroke over.
There's Jeeno's second at 15.
And she was trying to hit a 7-iron from a bit of a thick lie, but had no trouble with the trees.
She's going to be close to where Celine Boutier was putting from. You can see putting up the green. What would you say is the most difficult green out here that you've experienced the first few days?
Ooh, great question. I'd have to say the pin position on 11 on the first day was maybe the toughest pin position. It's kind of been a running joke between the two of us, but I 4-putted that hole, and I told my husband, I was like, those are great 4 putts that I hit on that hole. Yeah. All 4 of them were fantastic. But no, it's just, I think all these greens, I mean, 18. The 18's a tough hole. The good thing about this golf course, which I thought was, really great design, it kind of starts you off easy on the greens. I feel like the opening holes on both the front 9 and the back 9 kind of ease you into it, and then they kind of really start to ramp up. So 9 and 18, I think, are the toughest greens out there.
5 under today. She's now just a shot behind Jeeno, and got kind of a redux of last year's Mizuho.
Yeah, that's right. Those two players battled away, and Jeeno ended up winning by 4. We'll see what happens over the closing stages of today and into tomorrow. This is above the hole, so always a bit trickier here. Okay, no problem. What was the message that you gave to the AJGA girls? I know you spoke to them earlier in the week. What was the main message?
It's always fun to get to meet the players, meet the juniors. I told them a big message this year was, you're here in the field with the LPGA players. It's your 1 week to really know what it's like to be a pro. I want you to fully emulate it, be out there, carry yourself as a professional, and kind of look into the future. And a big part of it was, handling your caddy. It's a big part of it, right? When you're young females talking to, older people who are your quote-unquote employees, it's an adjustment. So a big part of that was, handling your team, carrying yourself professionally. Pace of play was a big one. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of new faces this year, a lot of new juniors, and yeah, Morgan, we were quite young out there. But yeah, we were 12, 13 playing in major championships, and kind of what I remember is that you had to almost act older than you actually were when you're out there. You had to act professionally. You had to learn how to act professionally, and that's a skill in itself. And I feel like this week gives the juniors a really safe environment for them to practice that skill. It takes a skill to be a professional golfer.
Yes, and I think, Morgan, you hit a really fantastic point earlier on about this rain and how it's just slightly taken some of the fire out of these greens. And that includes putts like this one that Jeeno has, which is going to move a bit to the right. But it might not move quite as much, quite as quickly.
I've just seen a few putts from above the hole, Karen, be left short, more so than we had seen previously. Like that one, it's hard to think that you could leave that short. It's so fast down the hill, and even though it might be a little bit slower in the back of your mind, you don't want to give it any extra, because the last thing you want is for it to get away from you.
All right, so another par for Jeeno, and LPGA telecasts on Golf Channel are powered by FM. Jennifer Kupcho really had it rolling.
She's going to get up there and realize she's got a bit of work to do. Okay, after a pretty lengthy wait, Jeeno is ready to go.
Yeah, and she's not taking driver because you've got 255 gets you into that little stream that runs across the left half of the fairway. It's what Hannah Green talked about in her interview about not hitting driver on this hole.
It's okay from Jeeno. down the fairway. And see who's going to be first to go, Karen. Six-point lead in the AJGA competition, but she is not going to be leading heading into tomorrow. Now Thitikul.
She's got 196. Got a little upslope. I think that is short and right.
Yeah, found the short grass. Let's see what kind of shot she faces from.
To deal with quite as much of the slope as what Jennifer will have to deal with from the bunker.
She can see quite a bit, but everything slopes off beyond. Don't want to be long. Not surprised that Amelie was short.
Jeeno have that to get to 10 under par. Let's make that task potentially a little bit easier tomorrow.
Nice to see Celine finding some form here this week.
And Aphrodite Deng, the defending AJGA champion of this event. She's going to play in the U.S. Women's Open at Riviera as a girls champion last year. U.S. Girls Junior winner.
She's an impressive young player. We saw her here last year. Played well at the Augusta National Women's Amateur as well. Very in Canada.
Goodness.
Contention in her home country. Lives not far from Mountain Ridge, right here in this area of New Jersey now.
Yeah, Short Hills, born in Calgary. She's just 16 years old. And you mentioned it, she was inside the top 10 most of the week up in beautiful Mississauga, Ontario last summer. And then she played great in LA at the JM Eagle LA Championship, tied for 38th there.
Jeeno next to go. Zalzman's already played, hasn't she, Karen?
She has, and she's still got a bit of work to do. Her putt just trickled past the hole by about 3.5 feet or so. This putt from Jeeno, it's going to move to the right, and it is downhill. Just needs to have such good imagination, just trying to picture where you want this ball to fall into the hole. As Morgan, you were saying earlier, about working from that hole backwards. What a putt.
Well, if she keeps making that length of putt tomorrow, it's going to be very hard to beat the world number 2, Jeeno Thitikul, leading by 2 here in New Jersey. We'll be right back.
Next hole. But after that birdie, Karen, she's back up by 2.
Well, she's just been playing very steady golf, and which is kind of what you have to do. And she's always pretty calm and chill when you're following her on the golf course. And you know, it's no different whether she's chasing or has the lead. Oh, and that's... Oh, it's just fallen back into the bunker on the right. That's going to be a tough par from that bunker.
Yeah, that driver has just made her work a little bit harder on this back. Hit less than half her fairways on the back 9 today.
It appears we'll play tomorrow in the final group. Right next door to Essex County Airport, and a bit turbulent here for Jeeno Thitikul. She's found the fairway bunker, and Karen, what do you see? Tell you what, let's quickly get up to the green as Karen gets a look. Now we'll keep it here, Karen.
Well, Jeeno's got 155 to that hole, but there's a decent lip in front of her. The lie's good in the bunker. What you don't want to do is lean back and dig it too much. This is quite an ambitious shot.
Just have to make sure you get it up over the lip. That's job number one. Job number two, avoid that other cross bunker.
She did good there, getting that up over that lip comfortably.
Oh, an aggressive play, taking it over that cross bunker. It'll only be the second green she's missed all day today. Despite a few driver struggles on the back nine, this one, unfortunately, potentially.
Putt like you can get here at Mountain Ridge. I'm just thinking about Jeeno, Karen, as she makes her way up to the 18th green here. She won 3 times last year, and the way the season ended, brilliant. Of course, she won in Shanghai in a playoff. She won the CME Group Tour Championship for the 2nd straight year. But I'm just thinking, we're going back to Cincinnati next week, which was played a little later in the season, and she 4-putted that last green. It just reminds us that view from the top can be tough.
Oh, I agree. Definitely not easy when you're the world #1 and you make mistakes like that, because you know everybody's watching you, and the expectations of yourself as world #1 are different. And so it had to be difficult for her, but obviously showing resilience and being able to rebound back.
And Morgan, I think about Nellie's 7-win season. It seemed like she cruised the whole time, but we remember that summer, and there were some dark times for Nellie.
It's not always easy when you have that spotlight on you and you yourself want to rise to the occasion and show everybody what you're made of, but you also have a lot of expectations on you, and they can be very, very heavy in weight.
How about this third, Karen?
It's actually pretty tricky. You've got that false front at the front of the green, and then you've probably got about 4 steps on top of that before the hole arrives. Pretty flat lie. That's got to go. Okay.
Not bad. That putt will have a decent amount of break there. Didn't quite read that chip very well of Thailand, but other than that, it's been the Nelly show, and Jeeno kind of saying, hey, wait a second, I'm here too, in a year where she hasn't really felt like she's had her best golf.
And to take a 2-shot lead into the final round.
And I think this is a decent place to putt from. Looks to be a little bit uphill from this part of the green.
How about that save? And that early bogey at the second, but clean after that, and a 2-shot lead instead of 1.
What a wonderful exclamation point on her round there with that par-saving putt on the hardest hole.
18th. And Jeeno, the prodigy, a winner of professional events as a 14-year-old. She just kept breaking records.
I know we showed a lot of putting highlights right there, but she did have 33 putts today, so something to watch for tomorrow. Maybe a little skewed as she only missed 2 greens. Putting stats tend to be a little higher on those days, but you know, you've got to certainly putt to win around this golf course. What brutal greens we have here.
And everybody talked about it when we got here in 2021, and again this week. It could host a major championship. You look at the leaderboard, it looks like a major, doesn't it?
I said this golf course is definitely.
You finished just in time, but 5 under, bogey free. The conditions were a little bit more mundane today. How did you take advantage of that?
We got lucked out with the rain. We were forecasted rain all day, but I hit some pretty good shots in there, took advantage of the par 5s. Didn't make any bogeys, I don't think.
You didn't.
Yeah, okay. Made some really good par putts and putted well yesterday and today, and I think that helps a lot on these greens.
You're telling me you were playing with Ray, the junior, today, and she was picking your brain. Talk a little bit about that experience and the format of this unique event.
I think this is pretty wonderful. I never had an opportunity to play in the pros event like this, and I was very surprised a lot of the tee boxes were the same as us, so they're getting the real experience. But play with Ray today. She was very polite. She was very nice. Seems like every year, every time I play this, the amateurs are a lot more mature than when I was their age. So this is, yeah, what a cool experience for them, for them to experience a golf course like this. It's a really beautiful and tough golf course. So happy to be back in this venue.
Going into tomorrow, what's going to be your mindset on the final round?
I haven't been in contention this year, so it's quite exciting. I don't think I'm too far away from the leader, so hopefully I can continue to putt better, hit some really good shots, and not make any mistakes.
All right, well, go get dry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.